Okay, guys, now for the first time I'm here with this English Brazil International as the host. Today, I'm bringing to you guys Karl, my friend. I'm really grateful to be here in this program, this program that was created by Simone, our friend here, who started this program, and she's inviting people from all over the world that we can have this opportunity to talk and to learn from different accents, not just our Brazilian English accent and also American accent or British accent, but English from all over the world. It's a really way to improve our English. And I'm really glad to be here, to be part of this group right now. And I'm so grateful to have you guys all here. And I invited my friend Karl. How can I say about Karl? Karl is a friend that I don't meet him in person. It is my dream to meet him in person, and one day I will meet him. How did we meet? We meet in during the Bible study. It was a program. I don't know who started this program. I think Bruce can talk more about that, but I found this program I was invited by Bruce when I started in English Brazil, and I started participating in the Bible study. Today, Daniel Ribeiro also is part of this program, and we meet every Sunday. And I met Karl in one of these meetings, and yeah, we became good friends. Today we talk on a regular basis, and now it's your turn, Karl, to introduce yourself, to say a little bit about you to us, and we get started with the questions. The word is with you, Karl.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me today. I think it's a pleasure to be here and meet people from around the world. My name is Karl Guggenmoos, as Nilso already mentioned. I also speak very funny because I grew up in Germany, and so you can tell my German accent. And then, of course, I wandered over here to the US about 40 years ago. And it's a long story. It will take a long time, but long story short, I grew up in the southern part of Germany, a city called Augsburg, 2,000 some year old city, founded by the Romans, and still a very vibrant historical city, very historical. A lot of historic events happened there. There were you may not familiar with that, but the Augsburg Peace Agreement in after the Reformation, there was a 30-year war, and it was signed in Augsburg. So I grew up in the 50s, 1950, and then became had to determine what kind of career I follow. And we didn't have a lot of choices. You basically either did an academic track or a craft or handy apprenticeship. So I decided to do apprenticeship, and I had started. I had an apprenticeship as a baker, but that fell apart because the owner of the bakery died. So then I did a hotel, and I mean a apprenticeship as chef and front of the house. Originally, when I was very young, I did not want to do either one of them. I wanted to be a jockey. I wanted to be a horse person riding on the horses. But by third grade, I was already way too tall. I'm right now I'm 6'2", so you can imagine when I was younger that didn't work very well. So I had to go a different path. After I finished my apprenticeship, I did the usual journey as a chef, different places, different countries, and eventually ended up back home in my hometown and had to spend some time in the German military. And I have to clarify, this was after World War II. Not, a lot of people ask me, so when I say this, so they would say, like, especially kids, so that says you were a Nazi. I said, no, I was not, because that was way before me. So then after the military, I became very spiritual, if you will, and I went to the US for the first time and went to seminary, studied in Grand Rapids, Michigan, different career. And then I went back home, and actually that's where I met Bruce. He was in the military. I was in a church that ministered to American servicemen, and I was helping and being part of that. In '84, I moved back to the US, worked some more in my field and the industry. And then in 1988, I took on that was about my third career. I became an educator. I started at a school called Johnson and Wales as an instructor in Charleston, South Carolina. I became a teacher of that campus and then the amateur. That I was pushed up to Providence after 12 years. Providence to become the dean of the university that was part of the school, and I for another 12 years, so another 14 years. So altogether, I went with Johnson Wales 26 years. So when I went up to Providence, I did it reluctantly because I didn't want to leave Charleston, South Carolina. It's a beautiful coastal city, but I sometimes they'll pay you money, your salary, they'll tell you where to go. So I had to go eventually. But when I came, I asked my boss, or the provost of the university, what does a dean do? I've never been a dean. And they looked at me and said, well, we don't know. You got to figure that out for yourself. I said, oh, wonderful. So eventually I did, and it was a great joyride. We were very successful and did great work. I got to travel the world, an incredible experience, not only business-wise, but also I always try to meet local people, so I know what the culture really is, what the food really is, and it was an incredible experience. In 2015, I retired. I had gotten into consulting work, fourth career, being a consultant. And one of the major projects I'm involved in is the area of culinary medicine. We meaning a friend that had contacted me from Tulane Medical School. Tulane is very famous for their medical program, and they wanted to start a program for medical students called culinary medicine, and we started a teaching kitchen, uh, literally teaching medical students about food, about cooking, about ingredients, about nutrition. And over the course of 11 years now, we're very happy to see that this program has grown. We are now the American College of Culinary Medicine. We are licensed in about almost 70 medical schools, and we have local and international certification programs. So, in a nutshell, that's where I am right now. And we got a few more years. I'm going to be 75. So we have, I think, God willing, a couple more years maybe, and then I can retire to the big sky.
Okay, Karl, thank you for this introduction. Now, guys, you can start with a question. My first question, Karl, I'm going to start asking. I would like to share my screen and ask you something about what I found here on the internet. Okay, guys, just a minute. Let me share with you guys.
Okay.
Are you a,
So now I do work for government. I work consulting
Karl,
for,
are
I
you
work for like international government, like
are you a celebrity? Because when I typed your name, look at the results. Look, what's going on,
I
man?
don't think so. I'm
Explain
not.
explain us explain us this result, man. I'm
I'm just
curious.
me.
Look,
I'm not a celebrity. I'm just me. I am passionate for
are
what
you a
I do,
celebrity, man? Are really famous?
and I have
You are really
been.
famous, man. Look, celebrity here, celebrity.
No,
Judge profile. What's going on, man? Explain to us.
uh, well, I mean, I was able, thankfully, to do some wonderful things, but I don't take um, um, all the credit. Much of it was an opportunity, God-given opportunities, and well, if you, there are some nice things that I was awarded. Yes, I'm not, I'm not, I'm not. Uh, 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 Meaning that if you look behind me, and I always, if you want to know what really, really was one of my favorite, or I'm really mostly proud of, and you see that silver
Yeah,
thing behind me, uh,
a lot of
um,
certificates, Karl.
that is uh, an Olympic torch, a
Oh,
real torch. And if I don't know if you can see that, I carry that through Providence, Rhode Island, this torch. And when I was uh, informed about this, I didn't believe it because I got a letter, I got a call from, or I got a letter from that at that time, Mitt Romney, who was in 2001 the chair of the Olympic Committee for the Winter Olympics in I don't remember where it was, Denver in Colorado, and it said that I was chosen to carry this torch, and I said to my family, "This must be one of those scams." But I'm not. I don't think. Who would think of me? Some kid from Germany has been up here in Providence to carry the torch. I haven't done it. Any big sport. I like sports. I did martial arts and all that, but nothing really of note. And soon after that, I got a call from a former student. She had gotten the same letter, and it turned out that a competition on the Today Show that for anyone that has anybody that has made a big difference in their lives, they can write a essay to the Today Show of 100 words or less. And if you get chosen, both of you will get chosen to carry the torch. So that's how that came about. And I still have the letter out. Sarah was a student in Providence, in Charleston, and she had become good friends with our family. We took her in. I mentored like I did with many other students, and my leadership, my directorship and deanship was very different than maybe what you think of a dean, who is this guy or woman sitting in the big office and unapproachable. I had students over at my house all the time. We cooked together. I had international students in my house on the holidays or even during the year, and we had a good time. And I enjoyed that interaction with students. And my chancellor and some other people one time told me, said, you're a dean, you shouldn't really have students in your house. And I said, I don't care. And I said, remember when I asked you what is the job of a dean, you didn't tell me that this was not part of it. And they said, well, you're right. So, okay. And then it just became sort of a great life for me. And one of the things I wanted to share that, if anything, that I would probably treasure. When I became the dean, I had to figure out what is my leadership like. What is something that I can cling to in leadership? I had always had an affinity for telling teachers, if you come here to teach for a paycheck, this is not for you. If you teach, you have to have the passion for the students, and you have to be in tune to the students, and you have to care about the students. This is not about your paycheck. If you're there for the money, it's the wrong place. And I created or kind of developed this philosophy of what I call my four anchors. When I was in Charleston, we had this storm come through, a hurricane, Hugo, and being on the coast, obviously it's very dangerous. And I had a friend that had a houseboat, and I tried to help him secure it on the dock in his house, and we tied it really tight to the pillars and to the dock. And this old guy came over on a little dinghy and looked at us like we were like coming from the moon. He said, "What are you guys doing?" And we told him we're going to try to secure the boat. And then he said, "That's crazy. That's not what you do. You have to take this boat out in the middle of the waterway. It was out in the intercoastal waterway, and you put four anchors on your boat, two on the stern, two on the bow, and you give enough slack so the boat can go up and down with the waves and with the storm."
Mm.
That I never forgot. And when I was the dean, fast forward, I felt those are good philosophy to have anchors in your life. And my four that I thought of were, number one, you have an anchor of confidence. That's where you master the basics. You build confidence in your school, in your life. You build your basics, who you are. And you have to have this anchor of who you really are in your life. The second anchor is the anchor of endurance, because you're going to get challenged. And this second anchor of endurance will tell you about the endurance to master endurance. And especially if you look around the world today, there are so many challenges. And if you're not grounded philosophically in a good worldview, then you get run over, and you have to have that endurance, and you master those challenges and stay. Again, that's true for your personal life, your spiritual life, for your work life, and in your work life. The third one is, I call it the anchor of renewal, where you master the unknown. It's another thing I always try to strive home to students or to anyone, that you need to get out of your comfort zone and develop a feeling for what's new, what else is out there, and don't get settled for who you are. You need to get out of the sandbox. You need to think bigger than who you are, and renew yourself in your life all the time. That's when I started traveling. At first, you travel for business, you stay in nice hotels. But I felt like, especially when I started going to Asia, I felt, or other places like Middle East, I felt, well, it's okay to have business understanding of this culture, but I want to know from the people that live there. I want to go out, and it was amazing learning experience. So for the first time, I went to Cambodia, and I saw absolute abject poverty, real poverty, and it just strikes you like nothing else. The same in India and other places, and it leaves an impression on you, informs you, again, renews you who you are. And then the last anchor is the anchor of grace, if you will. And that is, to me, master the human heart. That's where you learn what God has given you, and you give it back to others. And that's basically who I am. And yeah, Daniel, so I got a few recommendations, but they're or accolades, if you will. They're great. I appreciate them. But some of these, like this torch and others, that shows the human heart and passion for others, is more important than anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Carl, thank you so much. Now people will start asking questions to you. Okay, so whoever wishes to to make a question, please just press the button like Daniel Faria, and Flavia, if you don't know, it is your first time here, there is this icon, this emoji, just raise hand and you can ask a question. So Simone has a question to Karl.
First of all, Karl, I had seen you, I have met you before in one of the other sessions, and I knew that this session would be amazing. And it has been so far. I had so many questions that you already have answered, but I still have another one. Well, I mean, it's really clear to me that your passion with all the history, every single thing that you did before, it seems that it was very different. Okay, of course, with cooking, it was the longest. However, you've done so many things, and it's clear to me that your passion is just to be kind to people and to be helping people and to be around people. It doesn't matter where they're from, who they look like. You're just this kind of person, and I really appreciate you for what you are, people like you in general. So the question is, tell me a little bit about your family in Germany when you left, how many siblings you were, how it was with your family for you to leave, and then did you get married to an American or you have a mixed marriage somehow? Can you please tell us that side of you?
Sure. Like I said, I grew up in the 50s. I was born in 1950, and my father was a draftsman. He did metal drafting, and he started his apprenticeship when he was 12 years old, and worked for the same company for almost 58 years. The MIN, you may know them. And my mom was a seamstress. My dad was her second husband. Her first husband was a military officer in World War II who died in Russia. And from there, my sister and my brother were from. And my mom raised me up in a typical German home fashion. We lived in a little house, and she was a German mother with everything that goes along with that. And that means that she was a dictator at the home. She was very caring, very loving. She was a German mom. And it just kind of anecdotal. Her philosophy of raising children is by fear and by just kind of, she's the mother and you just do what you're told. Whatever comes on the table, you eat. There's no if or you don't eat. And other things like we had one time when I was 6 years old, I tasted, I took a spoon of her cookie dough, like cake batter cookie dough, and she had turned around and I thought she didn't see me, but she did because she had eyes everywhere. And so she looked around and I got this a mother look like, okay, you're gonna die. And like she said, so now you ate cookie dough. And you know what that means? You're gonna get worms in your stomach, and these worms are gonna eat your stomach. And at nighttime when you sleep, these worms gonna come out of your mouth with your stomach. I did not sleep for like weeks because every time at night when something was moving in my stomach, I felt like here comes the worms with my stomach. So that's basically in a nutshell what my family was like. And of course, my brother and I were always the mischievous ones. And when we got a little older, um, my dad was always we didn't dare play any pranks on my mom, but my dad was always up for, like, he used to smoke these real heavy Turkish cigarettes, and he would make his own cigarettes. He had like a little rolling thing. And my brother and I thought one day, let's do something to his smoking because we hated it. So we bought these tiny, small little firecrackers. I don't know if you know them. They're about this big. And we took one of them and stuck it in the cigarette. And we sat on the other side of the living room and waited for him to light that cigarette. And he took a few smokes, and then all of a sudden, boom, the cigarette exploded. and, and then and then we ran. Didn't come home for until it was late at night, and he was already in bed. So that gives you an indication the chaos in my home, Simone. And then I grew up. I was drafted in the military, and as I had come to America, I did get married, and it was very difficult. The two cultures from where she comes from eventually just didn't mix anymore. And we're at very good terms. We're very much speaking. We're not, there's no animosity. She just could not live in Providence anymore. She wanted to go home to where her sister lives in Alabama. And that's just one place I could not go. And so we're like now live at different places. And right now, I had moved to my daughter's house. There's a little apartment here that I can stay, and I'm the well, not much longer, but I'm the driver for my granddaughter, and but she's going to be driving by herself soon, so I'm going to get fired, I think. So, but it's great. And I have my son. He lives in Tampa, Florida. He has two kids, Ava and Ella. And my son was always also the troublemaker of my kids. And I'm really looking forward because his two kids are going to be just like him. And I'm just going to sit back there and laugh.
Oh, you're
Okay.
so funny. I remember how funny you were from the first session. Thank you so much. It was a very good answer. Thank you.
Okay, Renato, you have question now?
Okay, hi, Karl. Nice to have you here. And well, I think that you are very proud about your life, and I think that you are, you can say that you was a teacher. You are proud of your teacher life. Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think that this is very important. But do you regret something about your life that you'd like to do different from what you did?
Well, of course, we all have regrets and we all have things that we were not proud of. One of the things that there was a time in my life where this was during my military time, 18 to 21, where I almost went completely astray in life. I started drinking very heavily, and I was not a good person, if you will. But there was this one day was a kind of a spiritual experience that ended all this, and that's what I'm proud of. But like I said, I wish I would have not gone through that period of time. There were other times in my family, especially in married life, that I had wished I could have done things probably different. Maybe things would have turned out better. You know, when you're really truly honest with yourself, and when you want to solve problems, the other thing is that you ask for forgiveness, which I was very proud for a long time. I did not want to do that. And I learned that there's nothing wrong for admitting that you were wrong and
Yeah.
asking for forgiveness.
Yeah,
So
because
yeah,
some things are out of your control, okay? I think that you have to face something that were out of your control in your life. So I
yeah.
think that's, you know, I think that's impossible to control that.
But career-wise, probably not. I maybe I could have done something different. Maybe I could have studied more earlier. I had to go to study later, but for the most part, our profession in the food industry, and as a teacher especially, is really, if you have the passion, it is really, really fulfilling. I can
Yeah.
tell you, when you have students after 20 years, all of a sudden you meet them again and they say to you, Chef or Dean, there was one time in my life when I was really down and you came over and you took the time to talk to me. And I had one specifically, one guy recently, he was a student a long time ago. And he came up to me and he said, you don't remember this, but when my dad died, I was in your class and you were the only one that came over and you had tears in your eyes and you gave me a hug. And he said, nobody has ever done that for me.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
those are moments that you will never forget, you know.
Yeah, sure. It's a kind of
I
homage.
can tell you another sad story that if you want to hear it, it's also the downside of when you get involved in other people's lives and you suffer with them, it forms you also. There was a student in our Charleston campus who was a very nice young guy who was in my class and was quiet. He never spoke a lot. He just did his work, and he was a good student. He wasn't excellent. And then there was Christmas break, and he came to me and he said, "I'm not going to come back after the Christmas break." And I said, "Why?" And then he said, "Well, I don't really want to talk about it. It's a long story." And I said, "I have time. It's after class. We can sit." And he told me. And he said that he is actually the black sheep of the family, that in his family, nobody likes him. My father doesn't like me. My mother doesn't like me, my siblings, because I'm the idiot of the family. I haven't excelled academically. My mother and father, they teach at Princeton, at like an elite school. My sister's going to Yale, and I'm just learning how to be a chef or a cook. And I'm just a nobody. And my dad kept telling me that he wished that he wasn't born. And I said, "What are you kidding me?" He said, "No, that's what he believes." So I said, "Well, you need to come back because you're doing really, really well." And he did come back that after Christmas break, stayed till the summer break, came back in the fall, and he was doing well. I followed him. He's doing okay. And every once in a while we sit and talk. Christmas, and I'll never forget this, on Christmas Eve, I get a call from the headmaster of the dorm where students lived, and he said, "You better come over, Karl." And I said, "Well, what is it?" He said, "No, I'm not telling you on the phone, but better come over." So I went over, and there he was, that boy, laying, and the police was already there, but he was laying there amidst the garbage cans. He had killed himself, and he put a tag on his chest saying,
Oh,
"Well, Dad, you got your wish." I have never, never, ever forgotten this image.
well, it's very impressive, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I have good experiences. These things, they stay with you forever. When you get involved with people, you run the risk of seeing good things, great things, but also very, very heartbreaking things.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Daniel?
Well, it's a pleasure for me to be here and listening your words, Carl, because your words are always full of wisdom. I would like to know what are your hobbies, because you've said you had an experience in the 50s as an apprentice in a bakery, And lately, you've done extremely relevant work in medicine related to nutrition. I'm wondering if you like to cook.
Do I like to cook? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I have changed my diet, my own diet, because I have to practice what I preach. When I got involved in the culinary medicine, but at the same token, it's good for your health. And I have felt that or feel that as a cook, we have a responsibility to what we cook, what we give people to eat, because, and that would be a long discussion. The biggest problem I see with health is that so many, um, um, so many of your chronic diseases could be prevented by proper diet.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's what I live. Like today, I had a little cauliflower soup, and I do every once in a while eat, good food and enjoy. But by and large, I'm really enjoying doing. But my hobbies also are outdoors, going on walks. I can't do martial arts anymore. Obviously, I'm a little bit too old now, but I would hurt myself. But I still exercise. I go out, and I know that sounds strange to people that don't live here, but I like to go to the shooting range.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you very much, Carl.
Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Marcela, do you have best?
Yes. So, Carl, I'd like to know if you face some challenging situation, about or experience while you are evaluating different types of cuisines, different types of how can I say? It's not plates. It's different culinaries. Is that correct, Simone, Adenilson?
You
I
mean
would like
dishes, dishes.
Dishes,
dishes.
food.
Yes, different kinds of dishes related to, different cultures, different kind of, ingredients. There's
Right.
a challenging situation that you want to share with us.
Yeah, I really love international cuisine. I like different cuisines. I like different flavors. You develop over time a flavor profile in your mouth, and basically we use our senses to eat, right? And we just recently we did a project with the Saudi government of rewriting education program for K to 12. And the question was asked, what is the pivotal idea? What's the main idea about food? And to me, to answer the question of that would be ask the question, why do we eat? And I mean, people sometimes don't really know why are we eating. And to me, we eat for pleasure, obviously, and we eat for sustaining our body. And if you can bring those two into balance, eating for pleasure, eating for sustaining your body in a wholesome, well way, you're doing really good. And if that's how you evaluate your ingredients, um, over time, I came to, and this was done through my work with the culinary medicine. We have natural ingredients. If you want to call it God given, that's okay. But if you want to call it natural ingredients, and the less human involvement you have in preparing those or in adding or manipulating that, the better it is. Now, the art is to create flavor profiles tastes that are appealing when you cook. Obviously, we need to cook food, and we have cooking methods that have been developed over centuries, but they're ingredients that have been around for 1,000 years that are very healthy. But the more we manipulate them and adding, not cooking, not preparing a good dish. For example, I love South American food because it contains a lot of vegetables, very, very incredible flavor profiles, at least appealing to me. I like Middle Eastern food. I obviously like my German food. I do like some Asian with the foods. Some Chinese food I'm a little challenged because of what ingredients they use. I can I can tell you stories forever about our trips to China and the things that we had to eat because we didn't want to insult anybody. Uh, but it is really, really important to, we eat with our five senses, if you will, Marcella. We eat with our
Yes,
eyes, we
Carl.
eat with our nose, what we smell, what we hear, and what we touch,
Totally
and
agree
then
with you.
the last part of it was we taste. But we eat first with all the other senses until it gets to that. And
Oh, perfect. And just for complementing your answer, it's about you know, when you get more conscious about yourself,
correct.
you are more how can I say? Oh my goodness. When you improve your self-knowledge, you get you get more selective. You
Correct.
get more you want more natural things. You wanna have special experiences, with
Right.
food, with relationships, with your work, with everything.
Yeah, you're right.
And so you get more critical and
Right.
more assertive, with your choices. And for example, for me, sometimes I really enjoy running, like Adenilson, but I'm not a professional.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, my pace is low,
Me too, me too. I'm not a professional. I'm professional for
I
eating.
don't
I'm
know, Adenilson.
professional eating.
I,
Professional
I,
eating. I'm a professional eating. I eat a
Mm.
lot. Yeah, eating.
but
I'm professional.
when I start to run, and I really start to eat more healthier.
Correct.
You
Yeah.
know, I start to search for more natural food and start to drink more water, for example.
Yeah.
And I'm not used to do this kind of things.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with you. Thank you so
It's
much.
You're absolutely right, and that's the thing that educate yourself and have an open mind and learn. Also, make sure that you research that sometimes, determine that what is fact, what is fiction. Make sure that when you read research, there's anecdotal evidence in medicine or in science, and then there's evidence-based. Make sure that you see that I love oatmeal. I've been eating oatmeal for breakfast since I was 6 years old. And over the decades, and you hear all of a sudden somebody come up in a recent study, they said that, well, oatmeal are not all that great for you. But then you look what this recent study is. It's like six people from a company that's making something different. Uh, they put them in a cohort, and they give them something different to eat, or give them this to eat, and then they say, oh, they're not feeling good. That all of a sudden becomes science. That's not science. We know there are ingredients that have been around forever, and there's so much evidence based on all of this. And you're absolutely right. There's a combination, there's a balance, and there's a cooperation, if you will, within your body and in your metabolism, in in your gut feeling, in your overall makeup that balances out this what you do, your exercise, which is very important. You can eat all the right ingredients, but if you sit on the couch for the rest of your life, you're not gonna get healthy. If you're active, if you're moving, there's an emotional component. There's all these components that make you feel good and keep you healthy. And food, you're absolutely right that if you're running, then you're craving more of the natural foods. You don't want to feel foods that make you slow down, that make you slow or make you tired. You know, yeah, you're doing a great job.
Okay, thank you, Carl.
Thank you so much, Carl.
Evren, your question, Evren?
Yeah, Karl, you are an experienced person, as I see. So I would like to ask you what you think about marriage system. So about marriage system, what do you think about it?
About what?
About the marriage system, marrying, like people marry each other, right?
Oh yeah.
Marriage system. So when I look at the world, it seems like this system is not working very well. So you are an experienced person. You have seen a lot of people, a lot of lives. So what I think that, in my opinion, I think that we come to this world to develop ourselves. This is what I believe. So, and one of the biggest challenges are coming from relationships with people, business relationship, family relationship, friends relationship. So never easy. Relationships are mostly challenging. So what do you think that marriage must be a very difficult thing? I never married in my life. You married, and you know better than me. So what do you think about this? I mean, what is expected from human about this kind of relationship, like marriage relationship, let's say?
My lesson that I learned, unfortunately, it didn't work out. But and you know, I can go in and say blame this and blame that and do that. But I had to take a inventory of myself, of me, like self-searching, and I think it's a good thing. Marriage is a good thing, and you're blessed if you find the right partner. And that's probably coming back to regrets. That's one of the regrets where I'm sorry for that this didn't work out. And at the same token, I'm glad that we're not fighting. We didn't we're separated. We're not divorced. We're just not living together. But it's very, very difficult when you come from very, very different cultures with very different worldviews, and sometimes it doesn't. But you know, I'm seeing other cultures too, and another funny story, if you will. I was asked to give a speech in the UAE, in United Arab Emirates, and I was talking about the same about health and about so on. And all of a sudden, when I was speaking, I had just started, there was a group of women came in, all covered, you know, with the job on. And I'm standing up and say, how is this going to go? You know, and I was a little like, what am I going to do? And so I was talking about eating healthier and so on. So then all of a sudden, one of those women raised her hand. And I said, oh, no. And she said, so what do you say, McDonald's, good or evil? I said, well, if I say good, then, you know, then they yell at me. If I say evil, then I said, well, do you go to McDonald's? And didn't hear anything because I couldn't see her face. And then she said, sometimes, and all of them pretty much said, well, sometimes we do. And I said, well, I don't. So, but you can't blame a place if it's coming to you, if you're going there. And then she said, well, it's easy for you because you cook for your wife and home, and she has an equal. If I was your wife, I would not go to McDonald's either. And I said, well, that may cause a little bit of a problem. And she said, then they said, all of them said they were laughing, and they said, well, why don't you move here? You can have up to 5. I said, no, no, thank you. It's enough with one time. So it's, you have to, coming back to your question, I know this is, try to bring a little bit of humor to this, but it is not, relationships are not easy, I know. Especially now when you look in the world and you get all these different influences from everywhere. And it's really not easy. And we're married we tried together for 46 years. And then finally came a conclusion, we tried and tried and tried. And why don't we just be peaceful about it? And she's happy with us, living with her folks in Alabama. And she's happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Karl. We are running out of
Thanks.
time. We have Daniel with one more question, and I think Bruce put some questions in the chat box. So after Daniel, Bruce, could you ask the question? Okay, so Daniel, your turn, please.
Hi, Karl. Nice to meet you. It's a privilege to listen you to talk about your experience, and thank you. My question is, you said that you taught medical students, and I would like to know more about your experience. How was that? What were your difficulties and good things that you went through?
Well, the difficulties with students is that as teachers, sometimes we want to put them all in one box. But in education and pedagogy, that doesn't work. People come from different backgrounds. And the other thing is that we had to learn in academia is that people learn at different time, in different ways, at different ages. And if you start putting people in a box like when they're 10 years old or 15 or 20, and this becomes their box, and they feel that, like this boy, I remember his parents, I mean, that's extreme, his parents saying that you're no good. But you have to, as a teacher, unlock that. The teacher role is to unlock, to open up the potential and the skills and the competencies of each student, and each student is different. So you have to understand that you can't approach every student the same way. Everybody learns different, everybody feels different. If you compliment somebody, some student, they take it very good. Or if you kind of scold somebody or tell them, then they take it much more serious in their mind. So it's a real skill that has to be within your DNA, that you really, like, I remember when I was, again, a teen, the faculty will come in and they tell the students of day one, in my mind, you already failed. All of you failed. But you have to prove to me that you are a good student, or get a better grade. That's absolutely wrong. Because when you have students, they come with a clean slate. And I used to say, you have A. We start with 0. And then, or you have an A students, and you have to try to do your best that you can to live up. And Americans have this thing about, you can do anything you want to be. You can be anybody you want to be. That's just simply not true. Because people are different in their skills, and they cannot do anything they want to do. You cannot. You're really not doing anybody any service if you tell your kid or anybody You can be anything you want to do. You know, if you're blind, I mean, that's extreme too. You can't be flying an airplane. Or if you do certain things, there's some things you just cannot do. But you have to find out what are the things, but not only where you're good at, where you're skilled at, but also what gives you satisfaction, what gives you a quality of life that you do. So many people are in jobs and in work that they absolutely don't like because they made or people either push them into a certain workforce, but they're not happy, and the quality of life suffers. And if quality of life suffers, your emotion suffers. And then come back to you, Marcella. Then if all those suffer, then you don't feel like you want to exercise, you don't want to run because your mind is off, and then you make the wrong choices of eating. You start eating comfort food and the wrong food. So we are a creation for me as humans, uniquely formed by a creator, and everybody is different. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I agree with you 100%. Thank you.
Bruce, your turn, man.
I think that you guys have all done a great job of asking questions, and Karl certainly of responding to that. So I don't want to ask anything except, what is your favorite food, Karl? Is it schnitzel or something else?
That is classified information.
Oh, you're too diplomatic, man.
I don't really have one. Like I told you, I like the flavor profiles of South American food and Middle Eastern food. I do like my German food, obviously. If I say, okay, if I want to have comfort food, that would be my Bavarian dish, food of Spätzle and swine and pork roast. But that's not. I love a good flavor profiles. That some of the things that I had to eat in China did not fit my profile. But there's a lot of good food too. I like dumplings. I like things. I did not like snake the way they cook it. I don't like gelatinous type food like like duck feet but other than that it's good. But I love, like I said, I love full flavors, like again, like South American food, like Middle Eastern food, like I love Turkish food. And one year I went to Saudi Arabia and they took us out in the desert and we had a Bedouin feast with a whole roasted goat, which was incredible. They had it on an open spit. There was a broth underneath where all the drippings came down, and they had tomatoes and rice, and it was just unreal.
Okay, so my next, not question, but well, it's a question. When are you coming to Brazil?
As soon as I can. I get on the plane tomorrow.
Well, you have a place to stay with us, and we would love to have you and to experience the Brazilian foods and the Brazilian experience. So we're looking forward to that. We just need to coordinate that. So thank you for your time today.
No problem. And if anyone, I don't know how it works, but if you want to get my contact information, you can get my email. I don't have a CSI website because I get business that comes to me. So, but the culinary medicine, if you look that up, there's a website. And anybody that wants some more conversation about um, um, different ingredients and food, anybody can call. I mean, or you can call me. Nilsa can or Simone can give you my phone number.
Mhm.
I'm retired for the most part. I work from home and I'm good to go. If you want to have a cooking demonstration, Marcella, yeah, I give you or we can talk about ingredients or
You know,
Simona,
we could do
Oh
we could do a live.
goodness, it would be awesome, a privilege.
We
yeah,
could do a
You know?
live with you, Carl, cooking. We could do a
yeah,
live
no problem.
presentation.
Bruce,
Yeah, good idea,
yay.
Bruce.
So
Yeah.
Perfect.
I need to go, but I just want to say thank you again, Carl. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Yeah,
Thank you
we
all for participating.
okay. We ran out of time. I would like to say thank you for Carl for spending a little bit of your time here, and it was such a great words that you brought to us. You a guy with such a wisdom, man, and I appreciate it. We appreciate it, and thank you so much for coming here. We we are afraid of you not coming because you said that a snowstorm was about to come. Thankfully, it didn't come. So thank you so much, and thank you guys for being with us today. It was a privilege for me to be the host today. I'd like to ask, to thank Simon for giving me this opportunity to be the host, and Renato, get ready, man, because you are the next one. Okay.
I will be here.
So,
Okay, guys, have a great week.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Congratulations, Adenilson. You
No,
rock,
thank you so
man.
much.
Bye
No,
bye.
thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye.